295 yards, 2 touchdowns. The only him and Patrick Mahomes has done that against the Niners defense. But let's look at his QBR, 19.3.
19.3. Welcome back to another episode of Caps Off. Today, we are talking about week 13.
Wow.
Welcome to December. It's our first episode in December.
Unlucky number 13.
Have yourself
Christmas season around the corner.
merry little Christmas.
I love that
Dude,
song.
Christmas music blows.
So that's what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
This is
Jack gave me the most blasphemous take earlier.
It's not
a horrible take.
Saying
I don't
that-
think it's that hot of a take.
Say it again.
It's a very hot
It's a
take.
very
What
hot
did, what did you say?
No, the reason why it's hot is, I said earlier when we came to the office, y'all were singing or playing some Christmas music. I was like, yo, like, Christmas music sucks.
Why?
It's terrible.
Why?
That is a
I
big
never
take.
heard that take.
Old school is boring, it's slow, it sucks.
I'm not-
the only people
Disagree
reason
with
like
that.
it is because it reminds them of Christmas. I love Christmas. It's a great
Clearly
time
not.
of year.
Christmas
is
music is
the
like 50% of Christmas. It's
Yeah.
like
No,
when
it's not,
anything
bro.
you're doing, any activity, there's Christmas music playing. Like that just brings the mood. It
when
brings
I
the vibe.
hear Christmas music, I think of snow falling,
Yes.
a nice fire being lit.
Little
and
hot chocolate,
Hot
yeah, hot
cocoa,
chocolate.
yeah.
I've never. I grew,
That's
I
fine.
grew up in
You don't
Jack.
like the music. You like the music because what it reminds you of. You don't like the music
Jack-
because it's actually good.
That
Reminds me
No,
of
no,
Jack.
the
I grew
music
up in
is
Miami,
good.
bro. We didn't have no chimneys or anything. I didn't have little fires going on.
Or
I just
snow.
or snow. I just feel
All
it.
I'm saying
It's
is
just
the
a
only
beautiful
reason
time.
people like it is because it reminds them of Christmas, not because it's actually good music.
No,
It's
it's
actually
great.
good.
And that,
Why
and
can't it
that,
be both? Why can't it be
that-
both?
But I just don't think it's good music. I
Did
think
you
it
not
sucks.
say last week that Ariana Grande had a fantastic album?
I was about to say, you don't let me finish. I was
Justin
about to say,
Bieber.
and that does not include the Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, Mariah Careys of the world.
But that's
all right?
Christmas
What?
music.
Those are bangers.
They are
That's
bangers.
the point. All I Want for
Do
Christmas
you
for you
play-
was like the #1 most played song ever.
And that song, I can play year round. I love that song.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
one of my
Christmas
top
song.
songs
Come
ever.
on, bro.
But that's what I'm saying. There's a few outliers,
Okay.
and those are different. And you know why those are good? Because they're made by actual artists that are actually fucking good at their job. And the other Christmas music, who sings Silent Night? Everyone,
Silent
bro.
Night's like
Everyone
a church-
sings Silent Night.
Silent Night's like a church song, though. It's
Yeah,
not like a
yeah,
poppy.
yeah. It's
Like,
That's a
good-
Christmas
it's still a
song,
good
is it
song,
not?
though. It's still a good
Felipe
song,
and we
though.
grew up in the church.
You feel good? Yeah, I sang that shit.
See,
today,
everyone
bro.
sing that fucking song.
wow, we just got so religious.
Everyone knows the lyrics.
I'm not even Christian.
Not everyone
what-
can sing all I
let me
Want for
ask you
Christmas
this.
is you.
I'm not
Not
even
everyone
Christian.
can sing Mistletoe.
I'm Jewish, and
Not
I will
everyone
take
thinks Santa
Christmas
Baby.
Mistletoe is
over
so good.
Hanukkah. Christmas is electric.
Yeah, Hanukkah's
Well,
great, though,
obviously,
too. Don't
yeah.
sleep on Hanukkah. We got 8 of them. We got 8 of them.
It's not like REM sleep, but it's definitely
You're
like
right.
a light sleep.
Let me ask you, though. You were starting to tell me your top 3 Christmas songs. What are they?
So we're gonna go from 3 to 1. Number 3 is Santa Baby by Ariana Grande.
Oh, yeah.
Or is the Santa Tell Me? What is it? I think it's
Yeah, I
Santa.
think it's
It's
that.
something with
Santa
Santa.
Tell Me.
The Santa Baby's a classic.
Yeah,
It's
Santa
something
Baby.
with-
That's
Santa's in
that's
it.
actually one of the classics that I like.
Santa's in it.
But yeah, so Santa Tell Me by Ariana Grande. I can't talk
Something
today. I
with
never
Santa.
can. That's number 3. Number 2 is Mistletoe by Justin Bieber. That
That's a
one
good one.
goes.
That's a good one.
That
Hard
one
as
goes.
hell.
Dude,
it's
to be
so
honest.
tough, bro.
And then number 1, I mean, y'all already know it.
Yeah, Mariah.
Mariah.
It's, I mean, it's.
Christmas, there is just one thing I need, and I don't care about the present underneath the Christmas tree.
Have you guys?
I just want you for
Have you guys
my
seen the
own.
video of her singing that? Like someone, she was singing it live a couple years ago, and someone stripped all the music
Oh
from
yeah,
it.
that shit was terrible.
Yo,
That was bad.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
dude, they
It changed-
caught her bad, bro.
Yikes.
Yikes.
I
See,
thought it
now
was gonna
that was
change
your
my
argument
mind.
You
as
know
to
what,
why
though?
Christmas music sucks. I'd be like, okay, that's a fair
No, it's
case.
not.
I
But
feel
your
like it's-
argument stinks.
I feel like it's tough to lip sync though, like because there's a whole music behind. You don't even hear yourself. I feel like a lot of times.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know,
always think about that in
right?
live performances,
So maybe
yeah.
it's like I cut her some slack for that.
It just
But she
made me
got hella
think-
flag. She got hella flag for that shit.
Yeah, I didn't.
still a legend, bro.
I didn't know it until this week when one of my friends sent it to me, and I was like, "Yo, that's just because that is a song that'll play year round."
Mariah Carey's one of my goats, bro. We Belong Together is like top 5.
Oh
song
my
ever.
god, yeah, that's a really good
How does
one.
that one go again, by the way?
Hey, when you left, I lost a part of me. It's still so hard to believe. Come back, baby, please, cause we belong
Yo,
together.
I wish
It's a
I
good
would.
song.
So Mariah Carey is
Simon
one of the
Cowell
greatest
was here right
artists.
now,
I
we'd
had
be
to like
fucking
reset. I was like,
disgusted.
where does it start? Yeah.
What? I mean, there's football on Christmas Day this year, right?
Yeah, the Miami Dolphins
And
take on
New
the
Year's
Green Bay
Day.
Packers.
Electric.
And New Year's Day. That's gonna be
Electric.
cool.
Yeah,
Alright.
it falls on a Saturday, Sunday, which is
Dude,
gonna be fun.
you got the college football playoff on New Year's Eve. Then you got NFL
good holiday
all day
season.
New Year's Day. You got Christmas. Oh my god.
All right, but then
There's
hold on,
hoops,
hold
too.
on,
There's
hold on, hold on,
2022.
hold on. Before we go into now that the NFL is officially on Christmas, what is better, NBA on Christmas or NFL NFL on Christmas?
Well, NFL.
I mean,
The
It
NFL 's
depends because the NBA always has one insane matchup. Like
they always put the best
Warriors,
matchups
Cavs back in the day
on
used to be
NBA
That was the
Crazy.
best. That was every Christmas.
Yeah.
I love the NBA Christmas, like the Christmas games. I don't know.
I would say
It's
it's-
tough. Obviously, historically, I think NBA has.
gonna be-
but
allowing
this is
the
the
players
first
I
year.
agree. Historically, I agree.
They stopped allowing the players to have these Christmas shoes. The Christmas feel no longer is present in the NBA. And I'm
Really, they're
hoping
taking that away. They're like limiting.
Well,
what
I'm
you
saying
can
over the
wear?
last couple of years, I feel like I've seen less.
They
of
don't
the
have-
red
they
and
don't
the
have those
green
Christmas
and the Grinch
jerseys
shoes.
anymore,
The
yeah.
Kobe Grinch was so hot.
Yeah,
but now
but
I
that-
look at the NFL, they're gonna have some crazy fucking cakes
Yeah.
and
Bro, the best thing about NBA Christmas was the Jingle Bells commercial.
That's what I'm
Dog,
saying.
that shit was wild.
Electric
It's like,
commercial.
Jesus Christ, you guys are.
I don't know
musicians.
how. I like from a video edit perspective. I don't know how they did
You never seen that video? They showed how it was edited.
They
together. It's
did.
pretty
I
sick.
gotta watch
We
that.
should watch it after.
That's
this.
really cool. All right, let's talk about football though.
Let's get into it,
Week
man.
We belong
13.
together.
Week 13, great week of NFL football. Okay week of NFL football. Some dud games, but I want to talk about we're going to talk about both the NFC and the AFC. We'll start with the NFC. Who is the team to beat in the NFC right now?
Philadelphia Eagles.
No, it's not. It's the team that just killed the other team, 54-19. And they did that on a bad game. Dak did not play a great game. But
Yeah,
since Dak
you're
has come
talking
back
about
from
the
injury,
Cowboys?
the
I will
Dallas
say,
Cowboys. Since Dak has come back from injury, the Cowboys are averaging 37 points a game. That is unreal.
I've seen the
That
future,
is
and I know
unreal.
that he's about to at some point bring in the argument that the Eagles struggled to beat the Colts and that the Cowboys just blew out
Yeah,
the Colts. And
we
they're
saw
No,
this
so
week.
let's just relive those. The Eagles beat the Colts 17-16. The Cowboys beat them by like 40.
And as Bill Parcells once said, you are what your record is. The Eagles have the best record in the NFL. Not only do they have a top 5 offense, they have a quiet top 10 defense. Their defense is matching that production to hold the Titans to
I
10
agree.
points, and
I
they didn't
agree.
even turn the ball over. It's not like the Titans came out and were like turning the ball over.
No,
Like,
yeah.
They
held Derrick
locked
Henry to
them
like
down.
30 yards.
6 sacks. The Eagles defense is now matching their offense, and because of that, when the playoffs are going to run through Lincoln Financial, that's why I'm saying the Philadelphia Eagles
That's
are the best
scary.
team
That's
in the
scary
NFC.
going
They're
in
the
there.
team to beat, regardless of how the
I will
Cowboys
say,
have played.
honestly, obviously, everyone knows I'm a 49er fan, and like, it's
Yeah,
whatever, that sucks. We'll talk about that later, I'm sure. But as a fan of a team who is likely going to face one of those two teams in the playoffs,
scary.
I'm way more scared of the Cowboys than I am of the Eagles.
Really?
Way more scared of the
Talk to me
Cowboys.
nice, Pops.
Third party coming in.
Talk to me nice.
At least, so first of all, the way the Niners.
Hold on. If you had Jimmy, too. This is not a
Either
Brock
way,
Purdy thing. Interesting.
I don't think the quarterback
Let him
play
talk nice
matters
to me.
that much.
Let him talk
but
nice.
I think the Cowboys' offense is just. It's filthy.
It's scary.
Disgusting right
Yeah.
now. They can beat you in every single way with the run, with the pass, with whatever you want. The defense has one of the best defensive players in football, Micah Parsons. Trayvon Diggs is him. He's one of the best corners in football right now. And then I think when you look at the Eagles, A.J. Brown is awesome. Jalen Hurts is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Miles Sanders, that running. Their offense is great. Their defense is super gettable, I think. As a 49er fan, what's their biggest weakness of that entire team is run defense, right?
Defense, yeah.
We're going to run all over their
and what did
goddamn
Derrick
ass.
Henry do?
Dude, if you can't get the pass game going at all, like
I
Tannehill
agree. You
could
can
get
stack
anything
the
going.
box. Ryan Tannehill's
Yeah.
been horrible. Freaking Malik Willis got plays.
They,
And like,
Literally.
they also had 6 sacks.
I'm just
Robert
saying.
Quinn?
As
Jordan
from-
Davis isn't
from a-
even back yet?
Sure, cool. As the 49ers, I'd way rather play the Eagles because we match up better with them than the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at offenses, the Cowboys is just, I think it's a more electric
I'll
one. Like,
give
I think they
credit
can
to the
put up more
Cowboys.
points.
I think they're peaking at the right time. But
Yeah.
but for me, this inability for us to credit the Eagles, and I did it this entire where it's like I'm worried about their schedule. They obviously haven't played great teams. But I'm starting to see that defense come alive. And I think with Jordan Davis coming back, with Jalen Hurts, who's even for a multitude of weeks, I was sitting here being like, he's not playing that crazy. He's having rushing touchdowns and everything. He's making the throws you need to make, but he hasn't looked like a pocket passer. And some of those throws to A.J. Brown were spectacular. He's like that was an MVP like performance. So when I look at the Philadelphia Eagles and for it to be able to run through Lincoln Financial, if that defensive line can get going, the Eagles and the Cowboys are on a collision course right now for that NFC Championship, and it's going to be a fantastic matchup. I think the team to beat has to be the Eagles because they have the best record in the
if
NFC. I gotta
Jimmy
give
was still
credit.
healthy, would you guys be saying something a little different? I know you wouldn't be saying anything different. Would you be saying anything different?
No, because at the end of the day, I think, yes, defense wins championships and offense wins headlines, but the offense at the end of the day in this passing league has to put up points, and I have more faith in the Cowboys and the Eagles passing game and offense in general to put up points than I would about the Niners. And
Especially with Brock Purdy.
yeah.
Well,
and
I was saying if Jimmy didn't get hurt, because
Yeah,
that's
I'm
a
saying
whole different
if Jimmy,
story.
if Jimmy
but-
didn't get hurt, I could go also on about how we want to remove the Niners out of the conversation. Maybe they're not like closer to that third spot, but to me, they're still better than the Vikings. Brock Purdy, he might be Mr. Irrelevant, but he was fully relevant.
I was about to say, I'll be totally honest. I think the Niners do deserve to still be in this conversation because
I do
Jimmy
too,
G's,
but I didn't want to really get into
Jimmy
it.
G is obviously a proven winner, but he's not like the most elite quarterback. And then they put in this guy Brock Purdy yesterday, who comes out, has a great
Fantastic.
game. We need to see him start a full game and finish the game and see if he can actually perform. But like they still prove that like they can plug and play and put in a guy even like Brock
curious
Purdy.
to see what
still
can
be a threat.
happen when you give him those first team reps all the time. One thing that does help is that this whole year he's been the scout team quarterback. He's going up against the Niners defense every single day, the best defense in football. That helps. He looked really good in the preseason too, which who the knows? Skylar Thompson looked good in the preseason.
Yeah, exactly.
Booty hole. But like that was just a random straight Skylar Thompson.
That's a good point. It's a valid point.
No, he's the best Skyler in the NFL.
Name another. I like what his teammates have said good stuff about him. Like before he even started here, like Fred Warner's like he's got that dog in him. Nick Bosa's like, dude, there's something different about him. Like he walks around, you can just tell some guy like has that it factor. Like he has that, but he was drafted last overall for a reason. I just don't know what we got.
The Niners are not a team that you can count out. Everyone's going to talk about the Cowboys. Everyone's going to talk about the Eagles. Yes, you lost Jimmy G.
I agree with that.
But he might be Mr. Irrelevant from the draft, but he was fully relevant against the Dolphins. That was a quarterback that made every single throw, and as a Dolphins fan, like we threw everything at him.
He missed a lot that Jimmy makes.
They disguised coverages all game. And I still think I saw Brock Purdy sitting in the pocket.
They brought the heat at him all day,
Nick Bosa, Defensive Player of the Year. That entire defense is going to keep them afloat. You're not going to ask Brock Purdy to do much, but if he can make those throws and sit in the pocket, don't rule out the 49ers in the NFC. Don't.
But how often have we seen a quarterback with the defense hasn't seen this guy come in? Mike White last year threw for 500 against the Bengals. Cooper Rush, when he came in this year. The NFL doesn't know who this guy is. Exactly. He's going to go out and he plays well in the first game. Mike White, what did he do in the second game last year after he threw for like 500? Shat the bed. Mike White this year is playing a little bit better, obviously. They're actually doing pretty good. But I just don't know if Brock Purdy can keep that success up.
The one reason that I have a little bit of confidence with it going in is that I've seen this, and I've seen this work before for the 49ers. Alex Smith goes down. He's having a Pro Bowl year. All of a sudden, this dude by the name of Colin Kaepernick comes up.
Drafted high, though. Like
we drafted him like third round.
Yeah.
But still, like he wasn't a big name coming in, right? But you draft a guy like that, and he comes in, and you're like, oh, this guy's kind of nice. Like he's obviously plays a totally different game, and he reinvented the way I think people play quarterback now, honestly. But like, I just think maybe this guy Brock Purdy, you still won't really know what he is when you come to the playoffs because you only see a couple games of him. Like,
but
it might be tough.
You're saying I don't know if he could sustain it. If there's any team in the NFL that doesn't need their quarterback to sustain an elite level type of play, it's the Niners. I'm not going to expect Brock Purdy to come in and throw for 35 times a game. The reason Mike White failed to sustain that success is because that defense was trash. So when the defense goes down, I need him to put up a ton of points. The Niners have the best defense in the NFL. You're going to ask Brock Purdy to hand the fucking ball off to Christian McCaffrey, dump it off to Deebo Samuel. You're going to get those yak numbers. And at the end of the day, the Niners are still going to put up points, and the Niners are still going to be the Niners.
But I still think the Niners and the Dolphins both lost this week.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a lose-lose.
The Dolphins lost the game, but the Niners losing Jimmy G is blow. It's a big
that's a bigger loss for sure.
So who do you think lost worse?
The Niners.
You think
for
the Niners
sure.
lost worse?
Yeah.
But it's not as big of a hunch as I had initially when we were sitting in the office watching the game together and we got that news. Like I wasn't as worried as I am now. I was worried yesterday. Like when I saw
I was way more
like,
worried yesterday than now. Yeah.
Yeah. And
seeing all the reports that they're saying about Brock Purdy, I'm like, maybe Big Cock Brock's our boy. I don't know.
I mean, he hung that horse on us.
Well,
he did.
Brock could be really good, but at the end of the day, it's hard to come back from losing your starting quarterback.
Especially a guy that he's like the captain of the team. You can tell everyone loves Jimmy.
If anyone can do it, it's the Niners. Jimmy wasn't even their starter going into the season.
Yeah.
We obviously knew he was better than Trey Lance, but I still don't know what Brock Purdy's going to bring long term. So I'm more worried about the Niners, who we know has a good team, but if they go into the playoffs and Brock Purdy, first year in the league, never been to the playoffs.
That's scary.
Obviously had college success.
Especially if you go on the road at the Link or something like that.
It's gonna be tough if I'm the Niners, and then the Dolphins can come back from a loss. So that I would, if I'm a Dolphins fan, like that sucks to lose that game. You probably expected to lose anyways because the Niners are just a better team overall. But
I'm not worried.
You guys can bounce back from a loss. It's hard to bounce back from a losing quarterback.
Worse. You said this earlier, but it's worse to lose your quarterback.
Quickly,
it's a bigger blow to lose your starting quarterback than it is to just lose one game.
So who's the team to beat in the NFC?
Oh, I mean,
who do you say?
I also think it's the Eagles. I'll be totally honest.
You know what I want to say. I want to say the Niners, but it's the Cowboys.
Yeah, the team to beat in the NFC is the Cowboys. Although I do agree with you. You can only control what your record is. But then again, the Vikings, use that same argument for the Vikings, right? So, like, if we're going to use it with the Eagles, then the Vikings are the second best team in the NFC.
I'm going to say the Eagles, so you know it's 2-2. Dennis, who's the team to beat in the NFC? The Eagles or the Cowboys?
Cowboys.
He said Cowboys.
I got one last thing on the Niners. I think that is the last game we're going to see Jimmy G in a 49er uniform. I think it's the last time we ever see him. Because
I'd like to see him in New York Jets. maybe.
Yeah, but
that could be fun.
What was the injury, by the way?
Broken foot. So he's out. It's
so tough.
I mean, that's at least 2 months.
It's a shame.
So it's probably, I mean, maybe,
That
I don't know
handsome face
how it
looks
works.
great in red.
Maybe come back for like
does.
the
I
NFC
don't know if it
Championship
does in
game,
in
but
green.
Maybe.
yeah. After
Pushing
this, it's like, all right, you have no excuse but to let him go, get his money. You don't want to pay a guy. He's had injuries for you before. Let him go.
Yeah.
Start Trey. You know, if Brock Purdy plays well, at least you got a good backup.
Yeah, I mean, and then to the point of the Dolphins.
I was about to say, I
Yeah.
do want to actually talk about the Dolphins because Tua finally played a game that was like back down to earth a little bit.
He looked
this
bad
week.
that first half.
He still had pretty good stats, threw 2 touchdowns, like almost 300 yards, right? But he did throw 2 picks, which I think is the most picks he's
Look at
thrown.
Lipe's little smile, bro. Look at
I
his
know
little
exactly.
smile.
I know word for word what Adam's gonna say.
So, Adam,
he
the
played his
expected
worst game
points
of the
above
season,
average.
but he finally came back down to earth because he's been the best quarterback we've ever seen in NFL history. And guess what? The only 2 quarterbacks who threw for 2 touchdowns and 300 yards.
250 and 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns, 200 yards was Patrick Mahomes and Tua. Now, I'm not saying Tua is Patrick Mahomes, but he's pretty damn near it. And the DVOA is still the best in the league. And
Well, then if you look at the Dolphins offense yesterday, they had a couple of turnovers. If you look at it, and the expected points they have is actually 21. And if you don't have those fumbles and those mistakes, you really could win that game.
the points over expectation was spectacular for the Dolphins.
Hey, and don't forget about the eye manipulation.
don't forget about the eye.
Look at Adam, he's all red, bro.
All right, Adam. So I want to hear, did they nail it on the head?
Yeah.
Go in your
Spot on.
spiel, though. I'll give you the
Spot
floor,
on.
kid.
As a Dolphins fan, I'm not tripping about this. Like I'd rather have this type of performance now
Yes.
than in a playoff game where Tua can really shit the bed.
Yes.
Yes, Tua had his worst game of the year. Tua's been great all season, but still, yes, to your point, putting up 295 or whatever it was, still, putting up 2
God.
touchdowns with the best offense in the NFL. What I saw at the Dolphins is too many mistakes. 0 for 7 on 3rd downs. If Mike Gesicki doesn't drop that ball, which Mike Gesicki is a trash can, it's a completely different storyline right now. It might be a Dolphins win. So if I'm the Dolphins, I'd rather lose an NFC game against the best defense in the NFL. I can fix the mistakes. I can fix the 8 penalties. What I can't fix is an offense I can't move the ball.
You lost to a third-string quarterback.
Bro, Brock Purdy came in and played fantastic.
Brock Purdy doesn't play defense. That's your argument.
The Niners
No,
did,
no,
thank
I
you.
use my arguments for
exactly.
my own points. It's
What
all right. I can flip it.
The Niners did double their score though, 33-17.
Okay, and because of 3 turnovers, I could fix the turnover
They have
margin.
the best defense in the league.
33 points. is a
Actually,
lot.
I think they have
33
a lot of
points.
They
No
have 4
doubt.
turnovers.
The game was
Skylar
23
Thompson.
to the game was 6. It was a 6-minute game. The Dolphins were
was.
down 23-17. We were
Yeah,
driving,
you're
and
right.
you know what? What did you say?
Oh, I said y'all winning this game.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And what happens? Mike Gesicki doesn't catch the ball on 4th and 1.
Brutal.
And it's a completely different game. So I'm not worried about the Dolphins. They play on Sunday night against Justin Herbert in a primetime matchup. We have
This coming week, week 14?
this coming week. Then they play the Bills. I care about those matchups. I'd rather have Tua have his dud now than later.
I totally agree with you.
I'm not worried at all.
I
The
agree,
Dolphins
but
can still move
does
the
it
ball.
scare you a little that like
No.
let me I didn't even bring up
I don't
my
even know what
point.
you're gonna ask. What I'm scared of, but no.
No, but does it scare you at all that like earlier in the game when Tua was missing all those throws, it felt like the moment was a little too big for him at the start.
Yes,
you
however-
can't afford to do that in the playoffs.
Yes, exactly. But I'd rather have it happen in the regular season. And what I saw from Tua was someone that didn't trust the protection. Even though he had time, he clearly looked rattled without Teron Armstead there.
He was missing everything high. It was weird,
exactly.
but,
So
yeah.
he didn't set his feet. And for me, that's something we go back to the footage, watch film, correct that shit, and come back better than you were
You
the
should
last
watch
will
film
say-
for him. And
I
like,
would.
some
I was
of the
just watching
pointers.
film.
I will say
All
one thing
22.
I did like though is that after Tua like had some bad missed throws, like threw a pick, they went right back to that same play after, and he executed it like almost every
again,
time. That was
Tua's
cool.
mentally tough. We know
that was good with Mike
But, yo,
McDaniel.
Adam's a big analytics guy, so let's look at.
He is,
let me
yeah.
tell
You
you
want?
what.
I was just avoiding the
Yo,
analytics. You want-
295 yards, 2 touchdowns. Only him and Patrick Mahomes has done that against the Niners defense.
Thank
That's
you.
correct.
Let's look at his QBR, 19.3.
Oh, absolutely.
19.3.
Absolutely. I mean, look, again, if you look at the box
That's
score,
tough.
I'm
and
pretty
you-
sure Mahomes didn't have a 19.3.
if you look at the box
QBR.
score for Tua, it's terrible. He had his
Yeah,
worst
yeah.
game of the year. Not a single Dolphins fan is going to sit here and defend Tua and say he was fantastic. He had his worst game of the year, and yet still the Dolphins were in a position to win the game. And that's all I can ask for. The defense needs to play better, less mistakes, and you only ran the ball 8 times.
So we also agreed too that you
Time of
can't
possession
tweet
was
about the
screwed.
Dolphins or Tua until end of Friday, right?
And also,
My
I
balls
believe,
were crossed.
I believe also you have to tweet about the Niners, right?
well, Jimmy G's no longer on that
Yeah,
Yeah,
roster.
but
you know
still.
what? Swap out the Tua for Big Cock Brock. Swap that out.
I was actually this morning going to get ready to tweet and I said it to you also. I just defended the Niners. I will happily be a pro Niners
I
fan.
know, I
We
appreciate
are the
that.
Miami 49ers. We are the 49ers of the East. I am a fan by reason, by logic, by everything. We have Mike McDaniel. We have everything. If I'm
You have Mike McDaniel, you have everything.
You know what was crazy? That y'all had 7 revenge games yesterday and still didn't win.
It was close. Trent Sherfield took that to the. I'm out.
all the players. And
Yeah,
Dolphins
players, coaches, a lot of
Dolphins
revenge
fans,
games.
don't trip. We're fine.
They
We're
had
good.
the Trent Sherfield revenge game,
And I'll let
River
you know right now,
Craycraft
I'm
revenge
tweeting
game,
about the
Jeff
Dolphins.
Wilson, Raheem Mostert, Mike McDaniel, Wes Welker. And you have one other coach too. Like,
Talk about a revenge game. Malik Hooker against the Colts.
Yeah.
2 interceptions, 1 pick.
Yeah,
I want
festivities.
to pivot though outside of the Dolphins and stay in that realm of the AFC because I think the team to beat in the AFC right now is the Cincinnati Bengals.
I don't
And I'll
think that's
tell you-
crazy to say.
I'll tell
I
you
also
why.
don't think it's crazy.
The Chiefs can't beat the Bengals.
Clearly.
Patrick Mahomes is 0-3 right now in the last, I guess, year and a
The
half.
last 3 games.
What was Burrow's
last
stat?
year.
0-3 career.
Burrow
though.
played. I don't know his
What was
stat
Burrow's
line.
stat line?
I don't know his.
They played the Bengals before that? Before last year?
last year was the
Bengals played?
first time they played each other, and obviously Bengals
really?
won both of them then this year too. So
And again, we all year have not credited, including myself, the Bengals, and yet the team.
Deservedly, a team can get better.
Of course, and they're peaking at the right time. And the reason they're the team to beat is they were the team to beat last year. They made it out of the AFC. So I got to give credit to where credit is due. When I look at the Bills, I ain't worried about the Bills as much. I know what they are. I've seen the realm. If I'm ranking the AFC teams in terms of the team to beat right now, I go Bengals, Chiefs, Bills.
You're overreacting to matchups, bro.
What do you mean? How am I
A
overreacting? I'm
team
giving
can
credit.
the Browns have the Bengals number. That doesn't mean the Browns are better than
I'm
the
not-
Bengals.
I'm not saying
the Browns
that.
have won the last 5 against the Bengals. The Bengals are not better than the Bills or the Chiefs. They're a good team. They're probably number 3.
I think they're
Just
better. I
because-
think they're better than the Bills.
I think they're better than the Bills.
Well, but
Who are you
I
more
could
afraid
argue
of?
though that's the same argument as saying like the Cowboys beat the Colts by 40, but the Eagles beat them by 1. Like that's just a 1-game matchup. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean they're like that much better of a team. That's the same argument.
Which 1-game matchup are we talking about?
I'm just against the Colts. I'm just saying like
No, I mean with the Bengals. What's the correlation? I got lost.
Baker's being released.
Baker's being released.
We have just found out Baker Mayfield is being
Wow.
released. You heard it here
We can
first.
come back
Baker
to
will
it.
be going to the San Francisco 49ers. I'm calling it right now.
Actually, I can see
would
that.
love that.
Oh my
actually,
God.
That could be
Baker.
huge.
Okay, so all right, let's
that's
just pivot this.
that'd be the San Francisco Sex Boys. You got Baker, Jimmy still on the roster. You got CMC. That's a
That's
Nick
just
Bosa.
so
That's
Baker,
a hot
Baker
roster.
Mayfield on the 49ers, they're back
fact.
to Super Bowl contenders.
I think so because
Wow, what a
Baker
take.
doesn't
What a
have
turn
to
of
do.
events. Take.
If
Oh
Baker
my
goes to the
God.
Niners, he doesn't have to do too much, right? Like he does. The shoulder, like
I agree.
I don't know why I'm thinking of like the term in my head. He doesn't have to shoulder the load as
There
much
you
as he
go.
did
Hey, well done.
on the Panthers and the Browns.
agree.
Like he just has to not make stupid mistakes. Maybe create a little bit outside the pocket when things break down a bit.
Yo, Jack's heart on Baker just flips.
No,
180
He's been
degrees.
so anti.
He's been so.
He's
Baker's
better
the
than-
worst player in football.
Watch the Niners. Yeah. Watch the Niners not even sign Baker.
Okay, hold on.
If they
should.
don't sign Baker, they're not doing their due
they need to
diligence.
sign
They
Baker.
need
Sign Baker.
they
All
need
right.
to sign Baker.
Let's play pure hypotheticals.
Okay.
The 49ers sign Baker. The 49ers and Baker go to the NFC Championship. Now, I don't know what happens because the Cowboys and the Eagles, fantastic, and they could lose that. They've now, let's say, lost the NFC Championship. Baker played great, though. I mean, he looked
Trey
like
Lance
the-
starts next year.
Yeah, facts.
But-
Baker's a rental. If
but-
they get Baker, he's a rental.
If Baker wins the Super Bowl, if he goes all Nick
So it's
Foles with
only-
that bitch,
Yeah, but Nick Foles didn't
that
even get the
is-
fucking opportunity.
I still don't think you re-sign Baker. Baker wins the Super Bowl, awesome. It's a Nick Foles type shit.
Yeah.
Get rid of Nick.
Yeah.
Baker.
but
Baker
then it's
goes
more of a
somewhere else.
conversation. I think if he just
Yeah, but
goes
They went back to
the
Carson Wentz.
But if we're
immediately.
using the Lipe argument of like how the Cowboys beat the Colts and how the Eagles was a less impressive win,
Yeah.
what's more impressive is the fact that Baker went number 1 and Trey Lance went number 3. So the number 1 pick should be better than the number 3 pick. You know what I'm saying? No one followed that one?
No.
Me neither.
A lot of these arguments are going over my head. I'm like trying to like.
Follow.
Baker to the Niners
Bro.
keeps them in that.
You know what's
going
going
to
to happen? So he's going to hit waivers. I don't know what that waiver order looks like. Some motherfucking team that doesn't need this guy is going to put in a claim for him, and the
Houston or
Niners
some shit.
some stupid shit, right?
Yeah.
What other
or
team
you know what's
would
going to happen?
need-
Because the Seahawks
we abolish the waiver
The Seahawks and Rams hate us. They're going to be like, we're going to put our waiver claim in for Baker Mayfield,
Rams
so
could.
the Niners
Low-key, the
don't
Rams
get
need a
this guy.
quarterback.
But it's not like they're going to compete. They're 3-9.
I don't care. They might still do it.
They're going to do it in spite of the Niners.
Wait,
or
so what other
They don't
team-
even have a first round pick, I don't think, right?
What
So they
other
don't
team
care about
could
doing better.
legitimately
No.
get or want to look for Baker, do you think?
The Rams?
Yeah.
The Texans could just because.
Texans?
Why not? Let's see what's
I
there.
was going to say the Rams don't even have a first round pick though, so it's not even worth.
That's what I'm saying. So they should.
That's
They
why it's worth
should.
looking at Baker.
Exactly.
Because Stafford's pretty washed. They're like the Dodgers. All they do is buy. I fucking hate that.
Low key, the Rams, if they sign Baker this year, let's say it's like a 2-year deal, even if it's a 1-year deal and they have to consider
Yeah, just a
bringing him
little
back
1
next
year to see.
There's going to be a competition between him and Matt Stafford next year. I
trying
don't
to
know if
think
Matt
so.
Stafford is that much better than Baker.
Right? I don't think
At
so
this
either.
point, at this point.
Wow.
I don't think so. I don't think that's crazy to say. Matt Stafford's been awful this
Yeah,
year.
he has.
He's been abysmal.
All right, so
He's also been hurt.
are we going to stay on Baker or are we going back? Because I
Yeah,
feel
but-
like
yeah,
we
let's
can't
go
get Baker.
back.
We don't even know if Baker's going in the
Yeah,
night.
I just
True.
that
All
was
right.
just
what we were talking about is like who is the team to beat in the AFC?
The Bengals.
And we're saying the Bengals.
Yeah. I mean, the Bengals are really good. I want to go back to what your point because I didn't understand it. So, what was your comparison?
What was the one game sample size you were talking about? You were
The
talking about a
Browns. He
specific
was talking about the
game.
Browns.
I'm saying the Bengals have beat the Chiefs the last 3 games, and I think we have to separate a good matchup for the Bengals, which is the Chiefs. Obviously, it's a good matchup for them. They won 3 straight from them being just a more dangerous team overall than the Chiefs.
I think when you say who's the team to beat, who's the team you're more afraid to face. Yeah. I mean, as much as the Bengals obviously can beat the Chiefs almost every single time, we've seen that. But I think if you're just any other team in the AFC, you're playing someone in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I am absolutely terrified of Patrick Mahomes because you can be up 24 in the playoffs and you can lose.
But if it happens to be that matchup, then you really have to consider like the Bengals.
But I can make that argument with Joe Burrow and the Bengals as well. They were down 17 in the AFC Championship, and Joe Burrow and the Bengals came back.
That's not down 24. Like when they were up against the Texans were up 24
Both are hard
against
to
them.
do.
Like,
I just think when I look at the way the offense is, no one's giving enough credit to the Bengals.
Samaje Perine is
Samaje Perine might be better than Joe Mixon.
Literally, I think he might be better than Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon backed up Samaje Perine at Oklahoma.
When do we talk about the Bengals running back duo being arguably the best? Yeah, he didn't back up in Oklahoma. I don't think.
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
Nah.
Oh, I don't know.
They split carries.
Okay.
We've always said who's the third best team in the AFC. It's not who's the third best team. It's the Bengals. Well, let me rephrase. The Bengals would be that third best team, but in actuality, it should be who's on the level of the Bills and the Chiefs. It's the Bengals.
Yeah.
Those three are on the same playing field. It's no longer 1, 2, 3. It's
I don't
1A,
know
1B,
if it's
1C.
the same playing field. I think it might be Bills a little bit below
I was
the
about to
Bengals.
say, I think the
Bengals
Bills. I think the Bills have fallen off.
Because the Bengals, you finally seen right now, like that offensive line that was revamped this year is starting to finally click a little bit. They're a good running offense. People don't give enough credit for
Super
that.
Bowl off an offensive line that was terrible, a defense that was overperforming, and now you're seeing a team that's putting it together. They've vastly improved. They've revamped that offensive line, and now you have the experience of going to the Super Bowl. I'm terrified of the Bengals.
I know it's the regular season, but the Chiefs now have 2 kind of tough losses against the Bills and the Bengals. And if the Chiefs actually are the best team in the league, they need to beat those teams.
They need to beat at least one of them.
Those teams.
Yeah.
And if they want to prove that they're actually the best team in the league, like they got to beat them in the regular season also. It doesn't make a difference, you know?
I just think
true.
I think
Like the Chiefs are just tacking on bad losses.
The NFL
as well.
is all about getting hot at the right time. Like I don't think the best team in the NFL, hands down, is the team that wins the Super Bowl. I think it's the team that gets hot at the right time.
100%.
Everything kind of goes your way. Last year it was the Bengals during that run. I think the Bills are regressing, and I think the Bengals are soaring. So that's why for me, I'm going to put, if I have to bet on a team, obviously I think I'd still take the Chiefs to win the AFC because I've seen a larger sample size. But that Bengals team is above the Bills for me. And I think the Bengals deserve the right and defense to say they're the
Is
team
anyone
to
like
beat.
that close to those 3 either?
Nah, I don't think so. He was a
The
good
Dolphins
offense.
are up there, but I don't think they're still like
The
on
reason
that
I
list.
still
They're still a
don't-
tier below.
Yeah, I think the unfortunate part about the Dolphins being there is we haven't seen sustained success against top tier teams. We're going to see over this next 6 games or 5 games, whatever it is, because their remaining schedule is Chargers, Bills, Packers, Jets, and Patriots. That's a hell of a schedule to wrap up the year. Now, there's a chance they can end 12-5. There's a chance that, not win a game the rest of the season. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'll put them 4 because I give
I'll
credit
do
to
that.
them, to those 3 teams. Those 3 teams are fantastic, but we're going to find out a lot about the Dolphins over the next couple weeks.
Well, look, the Bengals have won 6 of their last 7 games, and up next they have the Browns, who they've lost 5 straight to. They can't beat the Browns. Again, they're a better team than the Browns, but
They'll beat the
if we're
Browns this
judging
year.
them based off of who wins that game, we're not going to say the Browns are a better team.
It's in Cincinnati?
It is in Cincinnati.
Yeah,
They're gonna
I'll
win
be
that
there.
game.
They still lost 5.
Yeah, right with.
When's
Oh,
that?
there you
This
go.
weekend?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean,
So, but no, I do have the Bengals probably, number 2. I mean, they're hot right now, and the Bills look a little suspect.
They definitely look
They don't
gettable.
look great. They don't look great
yeah.
right now.
yeah, a lot of people on social media not backing up the Bills.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know who also has not been backed up so well on social media has been Justin Herbert.
I thought you
No,
were
I
going to
feel
say
the
a
opposite.
different person.
I feel the opposite. I feel like
it's
he's
fair,
been back.
fair. Sorry, Justin Herbert is like the prime time social media quarterback, right?
Yes.
So like,
Yes.
everybody thinks he's like this elite guy, the next talent, the next Patrick Mahomes, right? One of the greats
Social media
that's
boy.
coming up. But if you look at his stats, he's been not playing that great.
Shout out
you,
to,
you said something yesterday.
Shout
you
out
were
to
like,
Emmanuel Acho for this
Yeah.
one because
So-
I think he's been taking the most slack for this narrative that he's put out that he is the social media quarterback, and I
Yeah.
think people take it completely out of context. But he was so spot on, and something that happened on Sunday proved Acho's point completely.
Oh, that was the best. That was the best.
Which was Justin Herbert for the entire game. If you watch the Chargers-Raiders game, which unfortunately Red Zone was just feeding us that
I
game,
don't
I didn't want to
understand
see a
that.
single thing of that. Justin Herbert wasn't playing great though. Like
No.
it was the Raiders, and he comes out and he rolls out and he makes this crazy throw to Keenan Allen. Might I add, fantastic.
That was
throw.
ridiculous
Insane.
throw, yeah.
And someone tweets Emmanuel Acho and says, here goes Acho, going to tweet about this as the social media quarterback. And Acho comes back and says, you are literally proving my point, because up until that, 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, he had a 57% completion percentage, which is between Baker Mayfield and Zach Wilson, and you're losing to the Raiders.
Hey, don't talk about my quarterback that way. Baker? Yeah, don't talk about him that way.
So the fact that Justin Herbert is a social media quarterback is more so rooted in the fact that like you're going to only credit those wins and not talk about his losses.
He has flashes of like these incredible highlights, and that's the stuff they show us on social media. And that's why he's the social media quarterback.
And that's the reason why everyone thinks that he's
flashy moves. You know,
that's why people think he's so great too, is because you see he does things that almost any other quarterback cannot do. Right? He has those things. It's crazy, but like if you actually look at the stats, like he's a mid-tier quarterback.
I mean, if we just look at yards, 335, we're like,
Sure.
he had a good game right now. He had 1 touchdown, no interceptions, which is cool. 15.2 QBR.
Yeah.
So worse than Tua.
Dude,
I mean,
so
and Tua.
Nobody's talking about.
And nobody's talking about Justin
Nobody's
Herbert.
talking about Justin Herbert today. People are
Everyone's talking about
Tua.
Tua.
Can we get the right narrative in here for TikTok? Because that was a good one. I like that one. I don't know
was
what
good.
the hook
I didn't
is
know
on
the
that, but
QBR
that
was
was great. Everyone wants to clown Tua for the performance against the Niners,
The number 1 defense in the league.
the number 1 defense in the league, and yet the Dolphins were still in a position to win. But what did
And
Justin Herbert do
against
the Raiders?
Raiders
The
defense.
Raiders.
What was Justin Herbert's QBR?
15.2 QBR.
And what was Tua's QBR?
It was like 18.
19.
19.
Yeah.
Okay. And yet still, one team was in a position to win, and Justin Herbert was in a position to try and catch up
to be
with
fair,
15
we're
seconds
comparing
left.
garbage can games.
I want to
Yeah,
I want to ask Felipe and Jack this question: if you were to build a franchise, who would you rather have, Justin Herbert or Tua Tagovailoa?
Well, that I don't think is a fair question.
I'll take Justin Herbert. Their coach fucking sucks. I think, again, problem with the Chargers isn't Justin Herbert. He's not performing well for sure. Like, we all see that. But I think that's rooted in the system. That's rooted in the offense. Always forget the fucking coach's name. What's his name?
Brandon Staley.
Staley,
he's
yeah,
a
the Costco.
Costco.
Brandon Staley shouldn't be an NFL head coach. How are the Chargers? I think they're 6-6. How are they 500 through half the season? Like,
I don't get
almost
it.
through like 3/4 of the season. They're 500 with one of the best, most talented quarterbacks in the league, a great roster. So I don't think it's on Justin Herbert. So I would take Herbert over Tua.
Here's the thing, because you said, who would you rather build a team around? It's Justin Herbert. But if I had to pick one quarterback to win right now, it's Tua. That's the difference.
I think
because we know Tua. I think Tua's reaching about his ceiling right now. But Justin Herbert, we don't really know because he's had a shit ass coach.
I don't think we know Tua's ceiling yet.
You don't think so?
I also don't. But what we have seen is that they have built a team around Tua, and he's performing.
And he looks
they're
awesome.
winning. So,
But
they've actually built a team around Justin Herbert. But
Justin Herbert, they didn't
sucks.
build the team around Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert came into a team that was already built.
Yeah.
Austin
That's true,
Eckler, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, an offensive line where they were able to get Rashawn Slater.
Yeah.
Like, they added so many defensive pieces. And at the end of the day, you could talk about their defense is trash, all this stuff, but your quarterback's supposed to lead you to points. And you could put it on Brandon Staley as much as you want, but this narrative that Justin Herbert's a social media quarterback is the fact that he also can't win. And so at the end of
Hold on. Let's be real though. I know you're gonna bring up 2-1 last year. The Dolphins didn't look great last year, and they had a bad coach. Like you hate Flores more than anybody. They get Mike McDaniel in there, and then now Tua looks great.
Hold on.
Coaching is a huge part of it.
Ask me that question about Justin Herbert and Tua, and I'll tell you every single person will also say because of the intangibles, you put Justin Herbert in the right position. Yeah, of course he's going to find success. I'll take the intangibles as well. But at the end of the day, I can only take the success that I'm seeing on the field in that small sample size. And you could say Justin Herbert hasn't had, his wide receivers the entire year and all this shit. But like Tua still put up numbers last year when he had a terrible team. So I'm going to take the quarterback that's winning right now. I'll find a quarterback that can find a way to win.
100%. But I think Felipe's point is that like right now he's winning because he was given a great coach and he was given the pieces that they are building a team around him.
Justin Herbert's been failed by his
for the Chargers, his coach is bad, and therefore he's not playing great. His pieces have not been great. Eckler's awesome.
The reason
obviously,
people hate Tua, and it was unfair, as we can see now, is because the past couple of years Tua hasn't really been great.
No doubt about it. And I think Justin Herbert, you get Sean Payton in there, the Chargers are going to be fantastic. Yeah. I just think the conversation was about a social media quarterback, and I think everyone takes the social media aspect out of it because Justin Herbert is not going to get slack when he plays like shit, and he's going to get praise when he makes these off-balance crazy throws, and no one's going to keep that same energy. Yet he had a worse QBR than Tua, and yet people are going to come ridicule for
It's wild. No, I haven't seen anyone talking shit on Justin Herbert on Twitter yet.
It's unfair.
They're 6-6, and he's a part of it, bro.
Your point about him having a worse QBR than than Tua is
Against a
why
way
he's a
worse
social media
defense.
quarterback.
Yeah.
Because people aren't talking about it.
No one's going to talk about
All
it.
right, here's another social media player that Jack brought up before.
Great point.
We were
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about
By the way.
Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah, this is a take. You guys are talking about Herbert being a social media quarterback. I was like, in my head, like I was just sitting in the background, mulling around, kind of thinking, to myself as I do
You're a good
sometimes.
thinker, though. You're-
That's the first time anyone's ever said that to me. But
First time for everything,
Yeah.
man. It's the holiday season.
you know who's a social media player, a social media corner is Trayvon Diggs.
Explain.
But in the opposite way that Justin Herbert is a social media quarterback, you see Trayvon Diggs. What was one of the biggest clips shared around yesterday? Him getting cooked by that special teams wide receiver,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But people aren't talking about how Michael Pittman only had one catch. People aren't talking this whole year how he's shutting out Justin Jefferson. He's
A.J.
shutting
Brown.
down some of the best receivers in football. He's a top 2 to 3 corner, in my opinion,
Yeah.
in the league right now.
Yeah.
But no one wants to give him credit for that because it's the popular thing to shit on the Cowboys. It's the popular, cool
Exactly.
thing to shit on Trayvon
Right.
Diggs. When realistically, he had 12 picks last year? Something like
That's what
that?
I was going to say,
Luckily-
no. He came in. I think that's why they do it, though.
Yeah.
Because he came in, he had 12 picks last year. How many picks does he have this year? Does he have, just
Not
a
as
couple?
many because they're
He
not
has a lot.
throwing his way because he's locking them down.
But also
Yeah, he has
having
like
12
he has like
picks,
4 or 5.
having 12 picks is an anomaly.
If there's
You're
ever
not
been
going
a-
to do that every season.
yeah.
It's
If
just
there's
Somebody
ever
unrealistic.
been a
Xavier
stat
Howard
that
is
backs
still a
up
great-
social media cornerbacks, it's how many INTs do you have?
Right.
I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
Right.
I really don't.
Well, I
Well,
care
I think
about
that's
that.
why
No,
maybe
because you're not going to throw to him if a wide receiver's not
No,
open.
totally.
Maybe people want to shit on him because he's on the Cowboys and because he has
Yes.
all those picks. Like, well, look at his yards against last year with all these receiver ball. But you look at this year, he's a different player.
Yeah.
Like he is locked down as it gets.
I'll give
It's just
you that.
I fucking hate the Cowboys, but I think it's unfair how much hate this guy
Trayvon Diggs
gets.
only has 3
3.
interceptions this year.
I don't care about the
Which is
interceptions.
tied for like, I don't know.
It's not that
Is there a
many.
stat we can pull
Yeah.
up about how many
most
yards
is
he's
6.
let up? Or like,
I've seen
that was the
seen
thing
some
last year.
graphics
Trayvon
about
Diggs
it.
let up a lot of yards last year, so he had the 12
What about
interceptions.
PFF grade?
Let up a lot of yards.
Is this his
Yeah,
second?
well, the
most
reason
season
he
in the
got
league?
so many interceptions because
Third?
people were targeting
Yeah.
him all
Third
the time.
season?
Third? Yeah, he missed his rookie season with the injury. He played like 3 games.
So did he
also-
have 14 picks last year? It says he has 17 career interceptions on. ESPN.
No, he had like 1 or 2. He played like 3 games his rookie season and then got
Gotcha.
hurt for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. 'Cause I'll agree with that because I feel like I also see so many people saying Sauce Gardner's insane. And don't get me wrong, I think he's a great cornerback, but the same way on social media, people share, Trayvon Diggs getting burned or Justin Herbert throwing big, crazy throws is the same way I've been seeing on social media, people putting Sauce Gardner a lot of times he's holding. And I think the best corners are able to get away with holding a lot. I think it's unfair to put Trayvon Diggs as this guy that's like a shit corner. I think he's a social media cornerback. He only gets
He gets
shit
on social media.
Yeah, when
And
one
he-
bad play happens, but
and
then
it's
when
like-
something good happens, nobody's going to
It's
say
like, bro,
anything about him.
people get cooked. That's part of being a corner. You know what no one shared yesterday was Jair Alexander getting absolutely mauled by N'Keal Harry. N'Keal Harry made that boy look terrible, and no one's sharing that.
Well, then I
Like,
guess on the conversation
stuff
of
like that that's cr-
defensive players, because we talked a little bit about Nick Bosa. Rank the defensive players you'd want to start a franchise with today, like top 5.
Micah
Top 5?
Parsons is number 1.
I think Micah's one because of all the versatility.
he is so.
You're going to want to get in on
bro.
this. See, this
I'll
is
go
He is
him,
so filthy.
Miles Garrett,
2, Miles Garrett.
T.J.
2.
Watt,
Yeah.
You didn't put Bosa?
Nick Bosa's 4.
Interesting.
But I just think T.J. Watt and Miles Garrett are on a different level
Aaron
of it
Donald?
right now. Aaron Donald's too old right now. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I would on edge.
Like Sauce, honestly, has been unreal.
Nah,
Yeah,
I'd rather
But
take
the
an
thing
edge.
is, the value with a rusher over a corner is like higher. So
What are you doing?
Top 5 players. So I was just looking at Trayvon Diggs against receivers.
If you had to start a franchise today and you had to pick a defensive player to build that defense around, who you taking? What's your top 5
yeah,
look like?
your top.
Micah Parsons. It's an edge rushers league. So I'm gonna go Miles Garrett again, also over Bosa. But then I'm gonna go Sauce Gardner 3.
Really?
Over
what I was saying.
Bosa, T.J. Watt.
Why?
I love a player that can produce, and Nick Bosa can produce. But I love the flashiness around a guy like Sauce Gardner too. Like Darrell Revis,
Like a young Jalen Ramsey in a way.
Jalen Ramsey, like when you can take away a number 1 wide receiver, all of a sudden a mid defensive end looks like a top defensive end. So I think it goes both ways. So I'm gonna go Sauce 3. I'll go Nick Bosa 4, and then 5. 5 is tough.
Not TJ.
T.J. Watt.
Yeah, I guess TJ Watt.
I mean,
So
I hate.
good.
You know who the Cowboys drafted over TJ Watt? Taco Charlton.
Who?
And they try to say Jerry's racist. Come on, we drafted Taco Charlton over TJ Watt. I saw that meme the other day.
try to say Jerry's race.
TJ Watt 5. I get sure.
Sure.
I was looking up Justin Jefferson's
There's also
stats.
guys. I mean, there's like younger guys like Aiden Hutchinson has been
There
awesome.
is,
this
but
year.
He's a
I
beast,
gotta see
yeah.
more.
He's been awesome.
I'll tell you
this
what,
year.
Sauce Gardner's not in my top 5 of guys I'm building around.
would you
right
go?
now. My top 5 would, like you said, it's an edge type of league. I'm gonna go Micah Parsons 1.
I feel like Parsons one is obvious because it's just his versatility. Too.
Yes, but here's where I differ. I actually go with Bosa 2, not just because I love him and we have some great memories together, but because if he doesn't tear his ACL, he was on pace to potentially win Defensive Player of the Year last year.
Yeah.
So
and this year he's leading the league with sacks, 14.5. The next closest guy is 13, and he missed 2 games.
If Bosa doesn't tear his ACL, we don't even have a conversation about who might be the best defensive player in the year, defensive player in the league right now, because he'd have back-to-back years of just pure dominance, which is what Myles Garrett did, which is what TJ Watt did, and that's why I'm going to put Bosa 2.
So you'd say if Bosa was healthy last year, he's the best edge rusher in NFL?
Yes, unquestionably.
Okay, all right. I'm with it.
Because... And he's just, I love him. You know, he's just an amazing.
A lot of memories with
an
your
amazing
mothers.
human
So that's
being.
2.
And well, 3 would probably be TJ Watt, because also the injuries, and he finds a way to come back. Plays through
He's
injuries.
so good when he plays,
Like
man.
it's just again, we see injuries and then we just bump them down.
How old is he too?
He's late 20s, I think.
Yeah, I would say he's still got some time.
Myles Garrett 4 and then 5. That's really tough.
Probably tough. You're not gonna put Sauce there.
I feel you got to put a corner
or
there.
Pat Surtain.
I
one of those
would
two.
take Pat Surtain over Sauce Gardner.
Put
More
Trayvon
physical.
Diggs.
More physical, better speed.
Yeah, but
put
Gardner's
Trayvon
more
Diggs
of a
over those two?
playmaker. I see Dion in him. Surtain is like.
Nah, I'm taking Pat Surtain.
Surtain,
That's
he's
fine.
flashy,
I'm not mad
bro.
at like AJ Terrell either. Like there's some really good corners in this league that aren't like top 3 to 4 or 5, and not mad at any of them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Real quick though, we'll talk about Trayvon Diggs. Here's some of the receivers he's locked down. I couldn't find all the
bring it up.
stats together, but Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown, Terry McLaurin, some of the best receivers
These are all
in the
top
league.
10 dudes.
Yeah.
All top 10 guys, and they look like nothing.
Speaking of top 10
Against
And then he gets
Trayvon
beat on
Diggs.
one route.
He gets beat up on one route, and then it's all
By
over
a
social
practice
media.
squad boy, and everyone's
Which is a great point. He's a social media corner, but
Hey,
in
it's
the
good
opposite way
content.
of Justin Herbert.
Gets engagement.
Speaking of top 10, we were going all over Twitter yesterday during the 1 p.m. games. What's the consensus top 10 wide receivers right now? Because the talent pool is
There's no consensus.
absurd.
no
I want your
consensus.
consensus.
I think it's more like ask a receiver, like, is he a top 10 guy? Because there's like 10 guys you can put at that 10 spot.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so what-
argued as a top 10. It's like
Yeah.
yes or no.
All right, off the dome, what's your top 10 wide receivers?
That's a lot of people.
I'll tell you what, though. You gonna like this one, Mr. Mr. Analytics. Second highest PFF rating, right? Or whatever it's called. PFF rating since week 4. Number 1 is your boy, Tyreek Hill. Number
Shout
2,
out.
CeeDee Lamb.
Ooh.
We had questions in the first couple weeks of the season if CeeDee Lamb was wide receiver 1. I think he solidified that he is.
He is a wide receiver.
Let the
He's an alpha.
record reflect. I've been on that. You've been not on that.
I wasn't early in the season. I'm realistic.
All right,
He's
so
an
can we
Amari
have
Cooper guy, you
top
know?
10 wide
Like,
receivers?
Let's do that tomorrow in the power rankings.
That can be,
segment when people
that's a
tune
good
in.
one. Let's wait for it. That'll
Let's
come
wait
out
for
Wednesday.
it. That'll come out Wednesday, so stay tuned. Make sure
Do
you
we have
come back
anything else?
on Wednesday.
We have nothing
Let's make
else.
sure you come back on Wednesday to listen to that power ranking segment. We're going to rank our top 10 wide receivers in the football through week 13.
Let me get a hot take.
I would
after
say,
you
do we
finish
got
your
hot
whole
takes?
wrap-up.
Let's get the hot
one.
take right now because then we're going to wrap it up.
I want to get one that from a non-capper
picks
because
within the
a lot of cappers keep
top
bringing
2
them,
rounds,
bro.
that's
It's like the same guys keep bringing them, and they're good. But let's get someone else that's not a capper.
Nah, fine.
Yo, just a quick shout out for these cappers. Thank you for submitting. Thank you for submitting your hot takes every day. But if you are in our Discord, and you should definitely join our Discord, you can go to the link in our bio and all of our socials. Join the Discord. Let us know what hot take you have, and you might be featured on the pod. You'll be added to an exclusive group in the Discord of all the cappers. So be sure to submit any good hot take you might have that you want us to talk about. Felipe, you have one for
All
us?
right, here's a non-capper that put in a pretty good one. I
Nice.
still might have to throw in a really quickly a capper threw a good one in it. But here we go. 89 cents. We've talked about him before because I think he gave a suggestion once.
I feel like, yeah.
But he's not a capper yet, so I think it's time.
Welcome.
I think I know the
Welcome,
one you're going
89
for.
cents. Broncos would have been at least 7-4 if they kept Fangio. I think so. And
I
you
think-
trade for Russell Wilson, so you still trade for Russell Wilson, you keep Fangio. I think so. Like, obviously, Russell Wilson has fallen off this year, but a huge part of that fall off is because of Nathaniel Hackett. And if you save that, then I think they're a lot better.
Nathaniel Hackett he might be the worst coach in football. He's so
fucking
goddamn
blows.
bad,
so
dude.
bad. We were talking about it, right? They've been scoring 18 points a game or something.
Yeah.
If they were scoring 18
if
points,
they scored 18,
they would be like 9-2.
Yeah,
or
see, in
10-2
in
now.
my head,
10-2.
I still think the Broncos are a contender in the AFC because they're
How
currently
the
10 and
fuck?
well, they're 10-2 right now. You know,
Oh
like,
yeah,
they're
yeah.
10 and 2.
No,
Yeah,
as a
10-2,
10-2 team, you know the Broncos. They're really explosive. Like Russ is playing great, he's throwing the ball well.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
that
Nathaniel
offense is
Hackett's an
averaging
amazing
18
coach.
points
The
a game.
same way,
and,
if you were to go to Chipotle and just ask for a little bit of lettuce, it's considered a salad, as you would say,
Yeah,
is
that's
the
a
same
salad.
way that the Broncos are 10 and 2.
Dude, exactly.
Because they put up 18
it's
points.
basically,
You know?
It's basically a salad.
So there's only 5 teams in the NFL that have less than 18 points per game. And the Broncos obviously are in that 5. They have the worst. And dude, it's like the Steelers, Texans, Colts. Like it's a bad
Look,
group.
you didn't say it, but to think that a lot of America and just football fans in general thought the Broncos were a dark horse,
So did you, yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying he didn't. I did.
I give credit to
I'm
Jack.
trying to save you from that group of people.
Jack's a
But that's
smart
crazy.
man. He always says he's not smart, but he's
All
a
right,
smart
here's
man.
another good one. This is also not a capper, so welcome, Beastly. But the way he spells Beastly, it's like an I and a 3, so it looks like a B.
it's
pretty smart.
I like that.
Clever,
Beastly
creativity.
epic. Mike McDaniel is the best head coach in the NFL right now.
Shut the fuck up.
Honestly,
I knew Jack was gonna
it's not
say
a
that.
horrible take.
It's not.
Like it's not
Bro,
something where
Andy
you
Reid
can-
exists. Bill Belichick exists.
No, I
Oh,
agree.
stop with Belichick. Hold
Yeah,
on.
but those are like all-time greats. I think that what they're talking about is this year.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll
I
still
still
take
say
right
Andy
now.
Reid.
Andy Reid for sure.
I'll
said
still
right
take Andy
now,
Reid
right?
over him. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'll still
won't
take
take
Sean McVay
Belichick.
over him. I'll still take Kyle Shanahan over him.
I won't take Belichick.
No, I actually right now, no.
Right this second,
but-
I will just because Belichick doesn't have the roster that McDaniel has. Which
Well,
credit to
he-
McDaniel
he-
because he brought a lot of those guys with him.
It's
So
almost like Belichick as a head coach can just
Hey,
go spend that free agent
Mike
money, and
McDaniel
he's
is
just
great,
not.
though. He's a good offensive mind. He's a really good players coach. He's great.
He is.
But he's not. Come on.
He has to prove that.
He does. He
So-
does. And this year he's been doing a great job, but he needs to it's a longevity thing also.
But I will say, I'll take
and
Mike
the guys they immediately brought up were guys who have proven it over.
I'll take
a
Mike
bunch of years.
McDaniel over Bill Belichick any day of the week.
Wow.
Okay.
So is he the best coach in the league?
No,
Oh, who is?
Andy Reid.
Andy
Okay,
Reid?
wait.
All right.
Where does Mike McDaniel rank for
What
you
about
then?
Pete Carroll?
Oh, exactly.
Oh,
I
yeah,
got
Pete
Carroll
Carroll.
probably ahead of McDaniel.
I put McDaniel in the top 10 because of the revival.
Sure.
I'll put him in top
10. Though. I don't
That's
know.
not saying much.
We've only
But again,
named
I'm
not
like
gonna
4
sit here.
guys.
I'm not going
Yeah.
to sit here and just start saying Mike McDaniel's a top 5 guy. Why? Because
I
of
don't know
what
if
he's
he's better
done
than-
in one season. I want to see sustained
Do you like him or Shanahan?
Shanahan. I've
Okay.
seen him take. I've seen
I just
Ryan
wanted to-
Dable.
him or Mike McCarthy.
Put him in there.
Mike McDaniel.
McCarthy's having a damn good
I think I'll
season.
He is
take
having a
McCarthy.
good
season.
I'll take Big
McCarthy's
McCarthy.
a benefactor
McCart-
of a fantastic team. I think he's doing a great job. But
And
I don't
you
think
don't
he's
have
that
a
good.
fantastic team. You got Tyreek Hill,
I don't
Jalen
think-
Waddle.
Do you think we said at the beginning of the year Mike McCarthy's not much?
No, I don't
The
think
Cowboys
he's amazing,
certainly
but
have
you can't
the
use that
Cowboys certainly
argument.
I
have a
could
better
promote
roster.
Dan Quinn to be the head coach, and they'll still do the same
No,
exact
but
job.
Cowboys
you
certainly
can't
have a
make
better
that
roster.
argument when you have the same shit with yours. All right, like you can't.
Stop
do
looking
that.
at him to back you up.
No,
Stop.
No, he's a
Look at
Cowboy
Mike
fan.
Evans. Look at me.
McCarthy in his past 30 games, I think I saw is like 22-8 or some shit.
He's a Super Bowl champion.
Something like that. Please don't kill me. All right, let me bring one last one. It's going to be really quick. I just think it's a fun one, and this is already a capper, Viscery. So, Brock, this is what he said. Brock Purdy, the new Tom Brady. Starting QB gets hurt, he comes in and balls out, takes the spot, and the rest is going to be his.
You goddamn straight. You goddamn right, buddy. There we go. I like this guy.
I like that.
It's
guy,
a fun
too.
one.
That's
I mean,
that
like,
is
I'm
a
not
fun
mad if it
one.
happens.
From Mr. Irrelevant to totally relevant.
Now, do you
Welcome.
think that? I mean, what if they get Baker? Then they're just not
Hey,
putting faith in that.
it's either big cock Brock, light skin Baker. You know, I don't know what we're going with. We're going to go with something. You know.
That's Ken Baker. Look, Jack compared this situation to Colin Kaepernick earlier. This is an even better situation, Tom Brady. So,
Yeah,
either
I'll
way,
take
I think you're okay.
If Brock Purdy and the Niners find a way to win the Super Bowl, it'd be better than Tom Brady's first year.
Good luck.
Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap
Good
it up.
luck. All right. Thanks for tuning in.
love
Go
you
check
all.
out all our socials at Caps Off Pod on Instagram, at Caps Off Podcast on TikTok. Make sure you go to the Game Day NFL on all socials. Go to thegameday.com for any sports betting offers you want. And tune in next time to Caps Off.
Love you.
Bye. Disagree with our takes? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, go to our Discord, check the link in bio, and go to thegameday.shop for all your Caps Off merch.